we really need to get into a place where we understand what makes a real connection with somebody. And that new wave of flaky mentality, it doesn't work. It's not how you'll ever establish a real connection with somebody. Um, so that is a very big problem in today's age. And I just want to speak on how it's really, it's almost like an epidemic. It's everywhere now, and you can obviously see this extends into the way people carry themselves in regards to things like the work environment and all these other kind of things. But in this case, we're focusing more on the dating side of it and the social aspect of things. But it gets to a point where you see it's almost impossible for people to make real connections because everything is, I don't want to put in the work and I really don't care. And I'll just flake on somebody in the process of getting to know them or just being there for them, or whatever my personal views are on things is enough for me to say, well, I feel like you're that way and I'm this way and I don't want to get to know you, and that's it. And I see that that's running rampant. And it's just really something that people need to kind of really check themselves and really evaluate themselves and understand that, sometimes the proof is in the pudding, in the fact that if you're one of those people who do that for every little thing and cancel someone out just for every little thing, you got to look at your record and start saying to yourself, am I being successful? One thing that happens a lot in this day and age is that a lot of people won't look at themselves and evaluate themselves. They blame everyone else for why things aren't going the way that they want them to go. And the problem with that is, at some point you need to look at yourself and say, I am the common factor in this. It's always me who is in this situation with other people and it doesn't go right. And as much as you want to point the finger at other people, you have to say to yourself, well, what am I doing wrong? Sometimes too, things take a little bit of work, and a lot of people sometimes don't want to put in that work. They want things to be made easy. And one thing that makes it hard for people to get around the idea of things just being easy all the time is the fact that, and that comfortableness, the fact that there is a lot of catering that goes on as well. And so, in addition to the fact that you have people who are flaking a lot, you also have a lot of people who are catering to others. That's part of the root of the problem too. You have to get away from, if you're one of those people who somebody says something to you, uh, especially like I said, in the dating realm, where you're getting to know somebody and that person is like, well, it seems like you act this way, you act that way, and you need to change the way you are. And just so you know, you're coming off this way. But and they tell you criticism on you, and you just started getting to know them and they're already kind of putting you down. You need to sometime be in a space where you go, okay, you know what? Cool. I'm not going to bend for you. I'm, I'm, I'm not going to, and this is not flaking, but you realize somebody is critiquing you hard without critiquing themselves, or willing to receive um, criticism from you to them. So if it's a dynamic where you're like, okay, I hear you're giving me some feedback, I'm going to give you some feedback, and then when you give them your feedback, they don't want to work it out, and then you start bending for them, that's a problem. But what happens is that creates a dynamic where they feel now they can always just give criticism, or they can flake. And that's kind of part of where you get that dynamic from, is someone else not feeling that resistance when they choose to flake out, because they know either you're going to try harder for them or there'll be a new option waiting for them. And that's kind of really where you start getting that. So on the other end of it, for the people who are flaking, on the other end of it, you definitely need to have people who are willing to stand their ground on certain things or have a higher standard, so other people don't feel as comfortable with flaking out. Um, it's a very huge dynamic on what puts it all together. But in general, people looking to make real connections need to get away from that. And with that being said, you guys, I want you guys to all take care. Put your comments down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.